Right, this is the Goblets. It's for international pairs, and we have another Dutch crew, and they are on the left-hand side of your picture, racing a crew from South Africa, and they are on the right-hand side of your picture. It's the Netherlands versus South Africa. We'll talk about the crews as we go down. The South Africans came fourth in the Lucerne Regatta just a few days ago. Stunning result, I thought, for them behind Romania, and they are the crew to beat in this race then.
Yeah, I like the South African style, though, that we're looking at. I like what the stroke man does. Bouwman, a bit more of a maybe double bump to that stroke. I agree, though. The Netherlands was actually another Dutch pair who are the reigning champions in this event. So, again, we're talking about the Dutch and the pedigree they have in this sport, but this time in the pairs event. Dutch, though, letting the South Africans get quite a lead in those early stages, but in these small boats, that doesn't mean as much in the large boats. So we're not drawing early conclusions just yet.
No, this pair were under 23 world champions. They did 6:19. That's only 11 seconds off that incredible 6:08 world record set by the Kiwis in the London Olympics. And Chris Baxter then went on to race in the Paris Olympics with the legendary John Smith, the lightweight who won gold in the 2012 Olympics for South Africa. But the two of them got back together. Damien in the bow seat, Bonhage-Koen, said the toughest thing for him was leaving his corporate job and getting back into training at an elite level. And I guess you could empathise with that, Stan.
I mean, that sounds pretty tough going. I mean, it's not easy. It's a full-time job, and you're often having to fit other things around it. I think it's interesting, though, that these two Dutch rowers are better known as scullers. Both competed in sculling events at the recent Varese World Cup, so they're now moving into the pair, which is a versatility that I never enjoyed in the sport. So, cats off to them.
Yeah, the Dutch team do have this incredible versatility. In the British team, you kind of seem that you're either a rower or a sculler, although George Bourne has changed from rowing to sculling. But the South African have seen their margin eroded. So we can see this Dutch pair here, Vos Meijssen.
The angle is deceptive. I suspect it's 3/4 of a length, maybe half a length. So yeah, the Dutch definitely coming back, and at this stage they do seem to have the higher base pace. There's still a lot of track to run, and so you're right, Martin, the form book seems to be slowly emerging, and you've got to think the Dutch are going to want to carry on making inroads.
Yeah, well, Ruiken rode in the two-seat of the crew that beat the Netherlands Olympique. He rode for Brooks. They did 5:33 on the Bosvan last year in 24. He's a medic. He only just missed Paris selection for that Dutch team. That's the quality of the lads you got in this stroke seat, and this will be an absolute turn-up if they beat the South Africans, who got that fourth place finish. They just missed a medal by a small margin in Lucerne at the World Cup, and the Dutch are just pegging back the South Africans. Now, what can happen here? This is a head-to-head race, and we have, what, about 600 metres to go?
What a shot just down the Henley course. Two pairs just going head-to-head. No longer level, the Dutch just seem to be moving, and you've got to think they are just going to keep walking away from the South Africans, who gave their best in that, up to the barrier in that first 500-600 metres. I'm definitely thinking here that the Dutch are just going to carry on walking away.
Yeah, it's that smoothness in the Dutch rowers, that patience off the front end, and you think they probably haven't expended as much as the South Africans in the first 500 metres, and that tends to mean that they'll have something left in the latter part of the race. And I think you can see every stroke they're inching. Beautiful stroking from the Dutch there, from Ties in the stroke seat. Nice rhythm, and then looking at Vos Meijssen in the bow seat. They are just moved right away from the South Africans. Credit to them and their coach, Arden Timmermans.
Yeah, it's never, even if you really back yourself, it's never easy sitting down in the early part of these match races, and that's exactly what they did. Got back on terms, didn't really change what they were doing, and are now just walking away as we expected. But it was a really good effort from the South Africans to challenge them as underdogs in those early stages.
Yeah, look around there from Chris Baxter, the South African strokeman. And if you're watching this presentation in South Africa, I know you'll probably be disappointed that your lads are down at the moment. They are battling to come back. The water's going to run out for them, I think. And that smooth style of the Dutch pair just taking them ever closer to the finish line. Meijssen and Ruiken.
They're not walking any further away, though, the Dutch. If anything, the South Africans, it's a little too late, but they are walking back on them just a touch with the finishing sprint.
So here come the Netherlands, and it was the tight margin, wasn't it? Probably just the deck, probably just the canvas, but Meijssen and Ruiken beat Bonhage-Koen and Baxter in a heat of the Goblets, the open pairs, and South Africa came right back there. Thumbs up from Vos Meijssen in the bows, whose favourite snack is Frisian sugar bread, so I'm told.